Hey everyone, it's Penguin Bond back with Unscripted Fridays. Today I'm joined by two guests. Everyone met Analog Man last week. Analog Man, say hi. He's got his cool little background. And then, of course, we have Dan Darrellmon, also known as Darren, with his cool little hacker background too.
Yeah, man, I had to join the club. I had to join the club. We have to hang out in the hackers den, bro.
Have to make it official.
Yes,
Although, as you see, my hacker den is all pops, so I'm okay with
nice.
that. But this week we wanted to go over a few things, basically just with the meta, what was going on with it, what everyone's thinking is going to be the cool next big thing. So we'll just kick it off with the one that everyone, well, at least me, I'm not a big fan of in Black War Greymon X. That deck is a bit of a beast, very hard to specifically tech for. But I was just wondering sort of what you guys thought if it's going to be the deck to beat from this point until BT12, or if it's not as good as everyone's thinking.
I would honestly say that it was not that great because if it was tier zero, as people are saying it is, Crossheart would not have topped. Blue Flare wouldn't have topped, or all those other tops. The deck has problems. I have it. I have the physical one, and I even altered it like literally right before the tournament of nationals.
That's
Man,
pricey.
we're I literally I went like, wait, I just spent like $200. Oh no. And then I lost super bad with it. So now I'm regretting my choice. Yeah.
I think I think two things are true about the deck. It's not as polarizing as like Metal Gurumon X was. Like that deck, like literally brain dead, you'd win.
Yeah.
It's not that good. It's not as good as Lord Nightmon was in its prime. I think that it's a good deck. It's definitely consistent, but I don't think that it is as good as people thought it was going to be. I think there's some other sleeper decks that kind of keep it in check for sure. But I think everyone's moved away from really that deck in general because of the announcement of the new rules for the Ultimate Cups. So I think a lot of people are now focused on more streamlined decks, and I think that deck takes a huge hit with not being able to run white cards. And I actually think that probably more people will adopt the Ultimate Cup rules to keep the meta fresh until B12. So I think for Nationals, it definitely topped because there was more representation of that deck. I think, obviously, if there's more people playing it, it's gonna top. But I don't think it's as unbeatable as people first thought it was.
Now, with the matchup, because I'm assuming you both saw the finals where it was Cross Hearts and Black War Gray, it
That was
seemed
a
like,
that was a straight up top deck win. I was watching that
yeah.
live, waiting in line for the signings and stuff, and I was like, dude, Crossheart has this. If he doesn't top deck the Hades Force, this guy loses the match. But then he did, and it's like blowout.
So do you think without Hades Force he wins that, or do you think Hades Force gone he's out of luck? It goes X cross.
I feel with Crossheart, the problem is that the deck is way too fast at the moment. Even just in testing, I've seen it just go off in like 2 turns. While Blackboard Greymon, if they don't get their pieces, oh, it's going to be a long run for them, and it's going to be bad because by the time they get their pieces, they have no security, and if they can't stop the attack next turn, they lose. So it's pretty rough. I feel like Blackboard Greymon X, it's like because it's a Greymon deck, it still has all the inherent Greymon issues, as in bricks, hard searches, and it's very bad when you don't draw your parts. It's just not great.
So with that being said, like Darrowmon, so if you've played Cross Hearts before, you've run the deck before. If you
Yep.
get 2 3 tamers on board, do you body that deck, or are you still worried about Hades Force, or are you just swinging for the fences as quick as you can?
It depends on the build, honestly. It depends because there's two builds that I've seen so far that are effective. The most of the ones that I saw topping nationals, they all ran the X7 engine, which is really powerful. If you get that on board, they basically can't kill it half the time because its effect says all turns it gains 1,000 for every 2 sources, so it's always 17,000. They can't get past that, especially because it's a blocker too on their turn because it reboots. So the only way they can get past that is if they straight up just try to Hades force it, but then that doesn't do anything either. With 3 tamers on board in that build, if they don't have the X7, they lose. But in the other build where you run Mervamon and you swarm the board, you can survive 2 Hades Force and come back and win the game because they can't block 3 attacks. They can't. Yeah.
Darylmon, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna agree, man. I think that more often than not, I think Cross can win that matchup. Now, I don't want to take it away from the very good Black War Greymon X players. I think that they definitely could clutch that matchup out. But I think on average, you know, if 2 average players pick those 2 decks up, I think Cross wins every time because it's just so fast, you know, and it's consistent enough, man. They got so much search. They see their pieces. They recycle all their stuff. And because those tamers, once you hit security, you're going to hit a tamer. It's almost guaranteed. So they're going to get them back even if you do kill them. So you're not really getting any value out of that. And the Kiriha Taiki Nene is crazy value. You know, like it's 1 memory, a draw. They get 2 of those on board. You can never choke them again. You know, so it's like, I don't know. I think that you don't really have to be that skilled necessarily to win with Cross. And that's why I would say that if 2 average players picked up those decks, I think that more often than not, Cross would win. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I could be wrong.
No, I would assume you're right because I've tried to play Black War Gray, I've tried to play Cross, and honestly, Cross did seem a bit easier. But I mean, you know me, my strategy is stall as much as I can, block, 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 and maybe I'll win. Hey, it'll happen one day. Craniumon will rise.
Well, he will with the new support from BT13.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
But with the Black War Greymon and Cross basically being the 2 biggest decks this format, what do you think would be the most likely underdog deck to really come out and be like, hey, I'm going to whip up on everyone no matter what happens?
Honestly, I might be biased. It's Machine Digimon, bro. It's Machine Digimon. I'm telling you right now.
I will agree with that because, you know, being Analog Man, I have to rep it. But if that deck... if they can't de-digivolve it, they lose because that guy can't die. He's a blocker. He has there are ways to kill Black War Greymon X because he can only be 13 for 1 turn. So you go, oh no, my guy gets plus 5,000. Oh, he's 16. You're dead now. See ya. And but that's the only way I've found to kill them. Aside from that, you just stall them for several turns, and they can't do anything about it.
Yeah, once they're in that stack, man, you can swing over it with Machine Draw pretty easily, and it's over from there. You know, like, and there's a magic to it. I'm saying, like, someone's gonna figure out the exact ratios for the level 5s because that new Tyrannomon is sick because it works on both turns. Like, someone's gonna figure out the spice, and it's gonna be Machine Dramon, I'm sure. I think in the Ultimate Comps, I think Machine Dramon's gonna tear it up because an all black deck. Most of his decks or his colors are dual black. So I don't see how it loses. Because most of the things that would de-digivolve him took a hit. So I don't know. He's gonna be crazy.
So you're saying the new Metal Tyrannomon was not made for a Tyrannomon deck. It was made for a Machine Dramon.
Dude, if you read the effect, like you never use that normal when digivolving unless you're really desperate. Most of the time, you're slotting it underneath Machine Dramon, and then you go, oh, sorry, did I kill your guy? Oh, no, I trashed the security. Okay, I don't have to swing in. Cool. It's fine. That's literally how it goes down every time.
That is, you know what? I can admit that I've seen it. I've seen Darylmon do it a few times. It's pretty nasty. The only thing I will say with that deck is it feels like you will give a lot of memory to start, and that can be risky if you don't find like a Digivolve. If you brick, and even with the mulligans, if you brick again and have to hard drop a 5 or even pass turn, it sort of puts you behind a little bit, but I know good players will get out of it.
I mean, I think with the new way that you play it, you could really stay in raising until you get to the new BT11 Machine Dramon, and then push out with the analog mon, and you're fine. I don't think you really have to give memory anymore. Especially with that new Machine Dramon, when it dies, you can play the EX1 Machine Dramon and gain 5 memory on their turn. Like, it's so like gross, and I think most people don't know what Machine Dramon does. I guess like maybe because he's been rogue for so long, like people just excuse it. So most time when I play people with Machine Dramon, they just lose because they don't know what he does, and they just swing. You're like, okay, well, you're losing security as you're doing that. I'm redirecting because you're doing that, and they don't really know how to adjust. So I think if people continue to sleep on that deck, I do think that it can sweep for sure.
Now, do you think? And I've seen a few people build it, and I know Darren, you've played against one person who did. Bagra Army, is that even close to complete right now, or is that pretty much just not a thing until the next set?
Bagra Army is annoying because it's not complete, but it does enough de-digivolving that it's just so annoying for Machine Dramon. You know, like it's not great. So and I think most decks are annoyed by de-digivolving, and they do it for free, really. And when you have more than one Digimon, they can put it under another one. Like there's so many interactions that deck can do that's really annoying. But it can't close out games, it doesn't feel like. You know, I think that it just is disrupting you from playing your game, but it doesn't have enough to really like put any pressure in you doing that. So if you can continue to rebuild, I think it's going to have a problem in this meta. I don't really know what that deck needs to be complete. Just probably better cards.
I mean, it has the level 7 coming out next set, so possible.
Yeah, level 7 doesn't do enough. All it does is just get rid of all their tamers. But then it's like you just put him into his deck. He can just redraw it anyway. It doesn't matter.
True.
That's the thing. Because Bagra Army, it needs something to check security. Like it needs something. It needs like a Tactimon that specifically says like this guy gains an extra security check or something. Something to give it that boost to hit for game. Because if it doesn't, you're just chipping. Like you have to do chip damage every time you play that deck. It's a really weird way to play. I don't know. It's purple, but it's not purple because it doesn't discard. It just saves stuff and you gain memory, but then you don't have anything else to do. So what do you do? Yeah.
Well, speaking of constantly building up and raising, and I mean we've already touched on the Melga thing a few times. Sorry if I keep waving my hand. My camera for some odd reason just does not want to record.
Yeah.
But we've talked about Melga. We've with it was always if you die, you build up in the back, you come up, you do it again, and you just constantly do it until the person's dead. Yep. Is Melga itself still viable?
I would say yes, because I've been actually testing it against all the meta decks that I have on me, and damn, it doesn't care. It's like, oh no, Wyvern's Breath. Okay, let me do it again. Let me do it again. It's that meme of Goofy going, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again. And I'm like, okay, cool. Guess I lose.
Yeah, I think Melga's not going anywhere until they have to hit a card that's like crazy in that deck.
They have to hit the promo. They have to hit the promo. If they don't do that, like what Asia did, that deck's gonna be around forever. Like, yeah, you can hit where Guru X all you want. They will just play more Sagittarius mode. It doesn't like. I love how they're like, oh yeah, this will totally stop the deck. No, Sagittarius does the same thing, except now that guy can bounce even more guys in the process. So I don't know what their idea was.
Honestly, I think they have to hit X antibody, and I know nobody wants to hear that, but that option's got to go, and it sucks because it hurts a lot of decks by them doing that. But I think it's the option and Cool Boy. I think those are the two hits that have to happen to really stop that deck. On top of both War Guru on X and Sagittarius mode for sure, because that deck's gonna just continue to just do what it does until you do something to stop it.
The problem is that, from what I remember, doesn't the alternate art X antibody card come out in the Beal starter deck at the end of this month, right? They can't, because if they do that, they're not gonna sell starter decks, because then they're gonna be like, oh, I need that alt art. Like, they're gonna wait.
Even if they limit it to one, like what's the name? HPD. I think at one, I would like to see it at one and see if that makes a difference in that deck.
I feel like it would still work because you have like, okay, if they don't hit anything, just the X antibody, then that would force them to stop playing, like for example, like Black War Greymon X, they can't play the new Greymon X as much because then they won't get protection all the time. They would have to switch back to the old Greymon and do the stacks again. But then Melga doesn't care either way. I've won games without even drawing an X antibody before. So
what hurts Melga more though, taking away X antibody or taking away Cool Boy?
no, neither do anything.
Neither. It's like whatever.
I've had like even other matches where I've never seen a Cool Boy, and I just saw Davis and 3 memory plus the Where Garuru promo, easy game, just go in. So I feel they have to hit the promo. They have to hit it, or hit a Garuru X or something. But then that just kills the whole deck. So it does. So I think they have to hit the promo because then that'll force people to play 3 Sagittarius. So then that way they only get I think that would be like 2 swings in total. Yeah, 2 swings in total most likely. Maybe 3 if you evolve again into level 6. But even then, that's kind of risky. So
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I would like to see the Garuru X hit though, but I could see the promo.
no, the problem is that if they hit the Garuru X, they're, as I said, they can just run more Sagittarius, just run 4 copies and they don't care.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, because you just digivolve with the Sagittarius, same effect. Yep.
Yeah, you have to get rid of the promo to make the deck slow down because right now it's at like maximum speed. But if you put it to 1, you're like, okay, now it's a little bit more balanced. You know, it's kind of like War Grey X where it can only swing like once, maybe twice per turn, and that's it.
So in the head-to-head matchup, Black War Greymon X Melga, who comes out? Or is it just whoever sees their piece first wins? Because you have protection on both sides, one from battle, one from pretty much everything.
Well, I ended up playing a Melga player in round 4, and he beat me mainly because I couldn't punch his guy and kill it in the process, and I couldn't delete it for him not to kill me next turn. So it didn't really matter regardless because even if I killed it, he had another stack in the back ready to go in. And if I kill his other one, I give him enough memory to do it again. So it's a really hard matchup. Like if Melga gets the pieces and manages to like just rebuild over and over, then Black War Grey has a hard time because the weirder part is that Blue also has access to option cards that can remove specific source. I actually discovered this card like 2 days ago. It's called Arctic Blizzard.
Oh God!
It lets you choose any card, and you just go, okay, I'm just gonna take your Greymon X, no protection now, and you lose at that point because then you get punched into, and then you get Omni X'd into the ground.
I missed that option card. I used to play I'll Drag You Into the Depths back when that first came out. That's like old right there.
It's good stuff. Yeah.
Oh, Melga and Blue. Blue is just, and I don't know. I think Digimon really, and Bandai itself, has a hard-on for Blue and the Digimon TCG specifically. Blue or green, like both of them keep getting boosted no matter which way you look at it.
Yellow also gets a lot of good stuff too, and now they're getting dual colors. They're getting dual yellow-red cards now.
I mean, yellow does, but it also gets cut more than anyone else.
True, but then at the same time, yeah, that's true. I feel like they have to hit blue just as hard as they hit green because blue's starting to kind of turn into that moment where you're like, hey, maybe this is kind of unfair.
True. So if you had to give someone brand new to the game any deck from this format, last format, go all the way back to BT4, what deck do you give them to learn? Or do you just be like, here's Melga, you're going to win, but good luck?
I would personally, like, the most simple deck in the meta at the moment, like, just by, I mean, as you mentioned before, Crossheart is very easy to pilot, but there's a lot of text you got to memorize. So I feel the easiest would honestly be Grandis because Grandis is still the main, like, basic, like, I'm going to build this guy, he's going to come up, he's going to swing, I win. So I feel that would be the easiest thing because all you do is search and the stack. That's it. That's all you do. I mean, they'll have to memorize the effects of Grandis and the Unsuspend, but aside from that, it's fine. It's very easy.
Darren, what you got?
I mean, I agree. Honestly, I think it's something green. I don't know if it's Grandis, because I don't know if if this person wants to win, then it's definitely Grandis. But I think like if you want to learn like Digimon at its fullest, I think maybe like Bloomlore would be good to like learn to play cards by effect, to learn the Digizorp and all that stuff. The Tamer text and stuff like that. I think that would be a really good deck for someone new to play and feel good about playing. Because you play something like Jessmon, it's just a lot going on, or you play like Minerva Loop, like it's a lot going on. Like
Chessmon's
you
also
want
a
to
brick fest, so
yeah,
if you want
but
to
you want
brick,
to
learn.
yeah, but you want them to be able to play Digimon as fullest. I wish that I could think of a deck that like had all the mechanics like cross, putting sliding things under source. I think Dorbrickmon may be that, but I'm
Yeah,
not.
Pokemon is very fun. It is a very fun deck. I've blindsided people with that deck occasionally at locals because they don't understand what it does. And then you explain, oh, it's like 3 cost and it just killed your guy, and I'm swinging for 5 security checks. It's so weird. But
Just shake my hand, call it a game.
at that point, but also, I mean, like a simple deck, honestly, another simple deck I can honestly think of, like if they're into like, like black or something, they could play Dark Nightmon.
Hey, that's not a simple deck. That is a complicated deck.
Oh,
It
so
has something.
you make Dark Knight and then you maybe kill your tamer in the process. That's about it. And then you go Undying King and bring him back and do it again on them, which is hilariously funny every time I do it.
It is good. It is good fun. So one
Yep.
deck we really haven't covered. I know we covered blue. We covered pretty much everything else in this format. But one of our teammates would be a little upset if we didn't bring up the Vmon deck, the
Oh,
Old Force.
oh man.
Is that something? Is that playable, or was that just dead on arrival when it came?
It is playable, but hope you don't hit the Hades Force. Or actually, no, it's fine because it says delete the highest DP cost or highest cost Digimon or something. Just hope to God they don't have it in hand, because was it, I think round 5? Yeah, round 5. I played an All Force guy. Man, every turn, just popped his board for just 5 too. For just 5, I just killed his board, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm bullying him, but I mean, I want to win. It was my only win, so I was like,
Wow.
okay. Yeah, it
Had to
was.
whip up on Old Force for a win. That's not nice.
Yeah, I didn't feel cool doing it. Afterwards, I that was my 5th round. I was already scrubbed out with 3 losses, so it didn't matter. I was just like, whatever. I feel if you're gonna run VMons, I feel like even though there's a lot of de-digivolving, I still like Armor Rush more because it's just so much faster. It has so much more options you can do. Like All Force, you have to play Tamers, you have to set up Rena, you have to set up like so many things. But like Armor Rush is just you just need a VMon and you need an armor, and that's it. That's all you need. And you just go in, and then they can't kill their guy, so it's like, okay, cool. I turn him into Magnamon next turn, and then you do Magna X. They can't rush you at that point. It's much more simple, but also more streamlined. All Force, I feel like it needs something. It needs something to protect the Tamers. If not, it's going to be a bad time because Black War Greymon X is going to be around for a while. Unless they hit Hades Force or some kind of crucial card, it's going to be around a while, and All Force is going to have that trouble.
So Darren, with the next four, or with the Ultimate Cups being monocolor, I know a few people have been talking about their arenas and buying all that stuff. Should I sink money into it, or should I just let it be, Darren? What do you think? Tell me.
Just let it be, man. Don't do it. Don't buy into the hype. If the Reina was a little bit cheaper, she was in like the $20, I would say, okay, go ahead and drink the Kool-Aid. But she's way too expensive for you to really scrub out with that deck anyway. Like you're not. It's gonna probably do well. It may top 16, but I don't see it winning the Ultimate Cup, even though it's mono.
It's not going to win.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of other decks that kind of keep it in check.
Shinjurmon has a good matchup against it.
Yeah, I think it's just crazy.
You don't care. You don't care.
And I would think that, I think some decks that people aren't even thinking about coming back into the meta with this monocolor thing.
Oh, Commander
Yeah.
Brigade. D Brigade just,
Yeah.
man. Dude, by the time you set up one of your tamers, oh no, my security, oh man, my security's gone. Oh no.
But even something like crazy like set control, I see coming back.
Oh man,
People are
no.
sleeping on that. It can run all yellow cards and still be crazy.
Oh yeah.
Like
No,
yeah,
it's funny. What is it for one of my tournament or for free man tournament? Um, with my team, I was like, so guys, I want us all to play security control, but I don't know how to do this. And then I built each of their colors, but only security like control versions. I made a full red version and a full green version because there's enough options to do crazy stuff now that they can't do anything about. Like it can run, like the green one can run just like the Davises to just run like the VMons for jamming, and then you have access to Megadeth and Gigadeth. They can't do anything about it. And you have Cocytus Breath. You have like all the Old Force option cards that bounce stuff, and then you have like you also have Hammer Sparks. So then they hit it and they pass it to your turn. So every color has a security control mono build. It's just nobody is willing to do it because that's horrible.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I don't think I like this conversation anymore. I think I want to change topics.
Yeah.
So moving on to our last topic, though, we've covered Digimon pretty much all day. This one, last one, all we talked about was Digimon. As you guys know, Bandai is about to flood the market with everything from One Piece that they're doing. I think I read something they're trying to officially bring Dragon Ball back into the fray. They're trying to do Battle Spirits in a month. Can they handle all of it, or is something gonna fall somewhere?
They're gonna drop something. It just depends on what, because Digimon now has a consistent community, and also the fact that the fan meetup thing did really well. Like I was there, and there was a lot of people that came out to check it out. So I think Digimon now has that presence that they can't ignore anymore, which is good. One Piece, on the other hand, it's very big, and it's still going to continue to be big because the manga's still going, the anime's still going, so they can't ignore that either. But Dragon Ball, there's no anime for it. The manga's still going, but I've been hearing some bad things about it a lot, so I don't know. I feel like with Dragon Ball, if they're gonna try and bring it back, they're gonna do it in like a very minimal way, you know?
I feel like being somebody who played the original Naruto CCG and got 28 sets and they just dropped it out of nowhere. I don't trust Bandai at all. I feel like it doesn't matter how good your game is, they will drop it and just be like, "Oh, sorry guys." Like, so I want to believe that they're gonna try and hold everyone, but I think as soon as they run out of ideas, because really what's going to happen is the power creep. That's what happened in Naruto. The power creep was out of control and they couldn't fix it, so they were just like, all right, we're done. And so I think if they continue to do this power creep thing with Digimon, I mean, we could run the same risk, in Digimon. Now, I don't want to say that that's where we're going, but the competition is going to get worse with Disney coming out with their TCG, with Pokemon and Magic. They're all still going to be doing their thing. So I think that as they continue to flood the market, and card games are going to start dying. You're going to see My Hero disappear for sure. And so I think that if they can't get a hold of two things, we'll lose more than one card game. I think if they can't get a hold of their distribution, because it's disgusting.
It's so bad.
Yeah. If they can't figure that out, then we could lose both One Piece, Digimon. We could lose it all. And then two, if they don't start really like being consistent with these ban lists, they have to do it more than twice a year. They have to continue to balance their game, because they lose people's interest when something like Malga is good for 4 sets in a row. Like you've got to address
consistent. They need to be consistent. Like like Yu-Gi-Oh, they do a ban list every 3 months. We need a ban list every at least set or so, because they're releasing them so fast that it's like we can't keep up money wise, honestly. Like I'm buying singles now. Like I mean, I buy like 1, maybe 2 booster boxes max now. Like I used to buy 4 just to get everything I needed.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people now. They're buying singles, and that's got to hurt them overall in their sales. And it's not that people aren't playing your game. It's just that like it's cheaper for me to buy these singles because first of all, your distribution makes people mark up your boxes to ungodly prices. So yeah, I think that they may look at some data and be like, well, no one's playing Digimon because we're not selling any product, and then they might cancel it. I don't know. So I think that we've got to continue to be vocal and tell Bandai they're like, look, we love your game, but like do something. You know, like you have to really listen to us because it's a
They got
competitive game for sure.
I think the
yeah.
biggest problem is, I mean, I'm looking at the list right now. You got Dragon Ball Super, like we said, you got Digimon, you got One Piece, you got Battle Spirits, and one I completely forgot about. They have Union Arena.
What is Union Arena? I don't
It's
even know what
like a
that.
cross between all the animes that they're now putting into a card game. It's sort of like
Uh,
Vanguard from what it looked like.
Yeah, but the problem is that they also need to get consistent with prize distribution, right? Like if they're going to give money with battle spirits, then they really need to like kick it up with your other games because I don't want another copy of any Agumon or Garurumon. I don't want that. You know, I
You
don't
don't want
man,
like your 80th Vmon.
yeah.
need Babumon that has that floral artwork around it, that Tamer Pack one or whatever the heck that is.
Yeah, man, like give us real prize support, you know, like I not it doesn't have to necessarily be money, but like give us something, you know, give us something to be working towards or be playing towards. Like the people who play in ultimate, you know, ultimate cup after ultimate cup or regional after regional, there's really no incentive after I get my play set, you know, of stuff, then like why am I still playing, you know, other than pride. The jacket I think was a step in a okay direction. All right, like
The jacket was really subpar. I like not to be mean to the people who got the jacket. Like it is cool, but there's really nothing on it. There's just the Omegamon on the back, and then there's like a patch right here, and that's it. On like both sides, that's it. And I'm
Well, and
like,
see, for me and people like me, Darren, our teammate Mitch, Ariel, we have Final Glory. Like we're all in Maryland. It's an arm and a leg to get out to California. You're looking at about $1,000 just in that weekend alone to go and play.
I
And
mean, I
as
can
fun as it
fly
would
out.
have been, is it really worth it for a jacket?
No, because even though I live in California, I still had to fly out. Like I live in NorCal, so I had to fly down there, and it's like, people are like, oh no, it's just like a drive down. No, between where I am and there, that's 350 miles between us. There's no way
Jesus.
I'm driving that. That takes 6 to 7 hours. Not doing that.
I could drive to Indiana quicker than that.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah, because the East Coast, like everything is more compressed, like next to each other. But on the West Coast, everything is like super spread out to the point where it's like even just me going to like a normal regionals, in the area of like the where San Francisco is, the Bay Area,
hmm
it still takes me 2 hours because I live farther up north, so I have to take like a 2 hour drive just to get to San Jose where they usually hold regionals. So
so what would you guys want to see as like prize support? Like if it's not money, what would you want to see? I have some ideas, but I want to know what you guys think.
it would have to be something that would make it worth it. At least for me, I mean, alt arts are cool, but I like the direction One Piece is going with the serial cards, like the Luffy. I'm gonna play for that Luffy because it's serialed. It's there's X amount coming. That is it. That is all that there will ever be because it is numerically based. But if I go out there, I'm gonna win what a Doru Greymon that is banned, and the trophy cards aren't even playable anyway. So what's the point? It just looks different, and it barely looks like an actual Digimon. The black background with the silver was a cool idea, but I don't think it works on the cardboard.
it looks so bad. Like I feel if they can do prize support for Digimon, like I know that a lot of people are already like into the virtual pet, like the Vital bracelet and some of the other ones. They could offer like for example, like let's say they win, right? They could get an exclusive like SD card for like the bracelet, and it and only and as you said, it could be serialized. It's a serialized one, like maybe like only 200 or like maybe like five are made, right, for the top five, and those people will be the only ones that have it. And if they have a Vital bracelet, which is like I would say like 70% of the people there playing, like you could be like, oh, cool. So now I have this exclusive guy, and I'm the only one that has a copy of him. You know, you could do something like that, or how they they announced exclusive virtual pet, you know, like this one, where it's like where it's like art by Kenji Watanabe, where it's just drawn all over. They could have offered that as the prize, like a prototype version, because they had it on display at the place too. They could have been like, okay, first place, they don't get a card, they get this. It's drawn by the original artist, and it's all like, you don't have to open it, but you can display it and be like, hey, this is worth a lot. Because collectibles are just as worth money as cards. But at the same time, when they're giving cards of a deck that nobody plays anymore, I mean, some do. I know people are still standing Alphamon, but like, why would you play like a card that's probably worth like $1,000 at your locals? You're just like asking to get it stolen.
I don't even think you can. I think they said the trophy cards are actually banned from being played.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, it's kind of like how like I had a friend who was playing with a Mastamon that was like the gold one. I was like, man, you're gonna get that stolen so fast. And luckily he was there to sell it. But it's like, dude, don't even attempt to play with it. I'm gonna warn him. I warned him. Everybody warned him about that.
Yeah. I would have did the same thing. What do you guys think about? I've always dreamt this, but like, if you could like win, say you won nationals, and you could decide one archetype that got support. So like, say you won, and you could decide that like, I want. Wouldn't that be cool?
Craniumon.
Yeah.
Craniumon, like, all the way.
Honestly, I would agree with that, because he needs some good. He needs an X form. Come on.
Like, it's been too long.
Except for Lord Knight. Lord Knight and Dynas don't have one either, but still, they need it.
But Lord Knight was good for a set. Craniumon was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna drop 13. You can't kill it, but you have 10 memory. Good luck.
Exactly. I don't know. Yeah, that would be a pretty sick prize. I mean, imagine they're like, okay, what deck, and then you just point to like the most random low key rogue deck, like. Oh man, like what's like the most roguish thing I can think of right now?
And Devimon, that's it. That's the one that needs the support, bro.
We finally make a legit mill deck that isn't based around Ravemon or that third guy. That would be funny.
Yeah, or if you could just choose a Digimon, you want them to make a card around. You don't get to choose the effect, or maybe you can work collaboratively with them to choose what the card does, but you could choose a Digimon and they could do the effect for it. That would be cool.
That honestly, that would be really nice. I'd be okay with that. Like just a random like your favorite. Like for me, if I had to pick like Royal Knight, I would be like, hey, Magnamon, he needs more. I need more. I need that option card. I just want an option card where he blows up the board. That's it.
Well, the other cool thing about that is you may not have it physically with you, but it's that bragging rights. Hey, that was my idea. That is what I did. That's my contribution to the game right there.
Even if they gave you credit, like on the like bottom of the card, they put your name.
I'd be there. I would have flown out there in a heartbeat. I would have been like, yep, okay, we're doing this. I would have broke my rule. I would have played cross hurt, whatever I needed to. I'll go meta. I'll be a meta sheep for a day for that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is crazy.
That would be sick.
But it looks like we are running out of time here. I know we got to get some of you off to locals. I definitely got to go eat because it is 7 o'clock on the East Coast, and I am a bigger guy, which means it's dinner time. But, thank you guys for coming out. Next week, we will be here again. We're going to go over some keyword effects that are currently in the game and some keyword effects we want to see in the game. So that will be a fun time next week. Darylmon, Analog Man, thanks again for coming out. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Great lucks and locals and good food all around. But other than that, we will catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Make sure you go check out Analog Man's YouTube channel. Dan Darylmon's on with Bushi for Gaming, so you can check him out there. Good night, everyone.